Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's season 13, episode 6, and today we're back for a massive domestic cup game with Sporting Lisbon as we face the big rivals Porto for the second time this season. The first one went pretty well for us and we'll be hoping for the same again. For those of you that did watch the last episode, you'll know the fact that we're back for this one does mean that one of the games we were intending to show today didn't turn out to be a crucial one. So unfortunately there is one competition we haven't succeeded in, but we're still on for the domestic quadruple at the moment. If you have missed any of the season so far, then please do go back and check it out. We've shown action from loads of different competitions, our director of football certainly made things interesting, and we've had some pretty decent performances on the pitch too, as well as a few hairy moments which have ended up costing us or almost costing us games. So let's go and have a look at the schedule just to see what's been happening since you were last with me. You obviously joined me for that Benfica game in the league, our only defeat as it stands, and still the only points we've dropped in the division. A really crazy game. We dominated the first 59 minutes, led 1-0 and it should have been 4 or 5, but then Marzuki got 2 goals in 5 minutes, one where he was unmarked in the box, and a second a free one from the penalty spot. A really strange 5 minutes where we completely collapsed defensively, but aside from that we were magnificent all game. Then we played in the Portuguese Cup 4th round. You obviously know we won that, as that's the reason we're playing Porto today, having made the 5th round of the competition. We rotated the side quite heavily and Jose Antonio Sanchez got the goal. He struggled with injury quite a lot this year, so it was good to see him back to fitness and playing well. Then away to Rijeka in the Champions League, we said we needed to win to stay in it, and we did courtesy of an early Ben Harush goal, another good strike from him in Europe, but unfortunately Lyon went and beat Real Madrid, which meant we were out of the competition. So we didn't have any say in that, but that win did guarantee us 3rd place and meant there was nothing to play for in the final game. Then into December, we've had 5 games and 5 wins so far, the first 3 in the league, a 2-1 win away from home. We were behind in this one with 25 left. We went all out attack and Cunha and Ho-Sung, 2 of the substitutes getting us back into it and managing to steal us the 3 points in the end. Then away to Belenenses, a 3-1 win. It was a really comfortable victory and a late consolation did nothing to dampen our spirits as Gerardo got back to goal scoring form with Ho-Sung and Cunha scoring the other goals again. Then a 4-0 win at home against a mid-table side. Sousa put us ahead in the first minute, then Schürrle, Gerardo and the substitute Tomic as we looked completely comfortable in that one. And then perhaps most interestingly, a 4-0 win at home to Lyon. Don't forget, if they'd won that game, they would have actually won Group C in the Champions League. They were on level points with Real Madrid and had a better head-to-head record after their 2 meetings. We put out our reserve side and still managed a 4-0 win, and Hugo Silva even missed a penalty in that one, with Tomic and Schürrle getting the other 2 goals. Then away in the last league game, it was a 2-0 victory, Santa Clara making it easy for us, a Sousa penalty after Dembele's early goal, giving us an unassailable lead by the break. So today against Porto it will be a tough game. We were just about getting everyone back to fitness and Porto are missing a few themselves, so we should be the favourites to get through in this one. Just a couple more to go and then we've got the mid-season break. There's just a couple of weeks off before we get back to action in the league, and then again we face Porto at the start of February, which could well be our next episode. As much as we want to win all 4 competitions and try and dominate domestically, the most important thing is winning the league, and Porto and Benfica are the sides that can stop us. Porto having a poor season, but on their day they can stop anyone, and Benfica just 3 points behind, ready to pounce if we make a mistake. You can see we're through in the Portuguese League Cup with a game to spare. We've already won the group in that one. And we've got Shakhtar Donetsk in the Europa League last 32, having been knocked out of the Champions League group stages. But let's go and get into this game against Porto, see if we can get through in the Portuguese Cup. Again, Sporting Lisbon won this last season, so we want to try and keep that record up and make sure we win as many trophies as possible. We are in a journeyman career, and we've got to try and attract the interest of either Spanish, German or French clubs, and if we can't do that, the career will end at the end of this season, so we've got to make sure we put ourselves in the best position possible. We're the slight favourites as both teams come into this in excellent form. Porto had a really shaky start to the season, but they are improving drastically now. We're at full strength though, so it should be enough, providing we play to the best of our ability. We've got Fabrizio in goal, as you would probably expect, Vernier and Rodriguez the fullbacks, Michel and Paixão playing centre half, both staying on that cover duty. It's given us the best defensive record in the league, league, so we're more than happy to stick with it for now. Schürrle and Cunha are paired in midfield, Cunha scoring goals galore off the bench, so there's no reason for us to drop him at the moment. De Campo will just have to settle for being a sub. Dembele and Ben Harouche out wide with Sousa in the number 10, and Gerardo's back up front on his own as he's finally started scoring goals again. We've got the usual suspects on the bench, just Sanchez, Cortez and the sub-keeper missing out. Unfortunately, Ronald's not back to fitness yet, but I don't think he would have been in the 18 anyway. So let's go and get into this home game in the Cup, and fingers crossed we can beat the old rivals and get ourselves through to the next round of the Cup. It's a defensive 4-4-2 for Porto, but they're always going to cause trouble with that 2 up front. I know we beat them earlier on in the season, but they're in far better form now, and we've probably got a few reasons to be worried, as we've not been at our best despite a few wins in the league. We have conceded in 2 or 3 games this month, something that's not been common this year, so defensively we are starting to make the odd error, and you saw last time against Benfica, when we got put under pressure by a good side, we did just collapse in a 5 or 10 minute spell. They've got the skipper up front who did well against us last time, but hopefully if we tell the lads to prove a point, they'll go and do their best for Vitor Severino. Myself and him are forming a decent team, and we could add a few trophies together in this partnership. We'll go and deal with the tunnel interview to say that we hope the keeper doesn't have a good game. He's gone on a lengthy run without conceding, something we can't account for in this one. If he does that, it's going to cause a bit of trouble for us, as I wouldn't fancy our chances on penalties. I've no idea with the Portuguese Cup, it might go to a replay or extra time. I just don't know what happens, but I don't really want to have to take that risk. If we can wrap it up in 90 minutes, that would be great, and there's a real buzz amongst the training grounds as we're playing the rivals in a big cup game. I'd like to hope it'll be a sellout as well, as the fans will be flocking in to see this one. It looks like there's plenty of fans in the ground, so even if it's not a sellout, we'll certainly be well supported. We're coming forward on the right early on with Dembele, but he's been challenged and the ball's gone out for a throw-in. We're back with the corner with Ben Harouche, headed away to the edge of the box, but he's back out wide to the Israeli again. He's got a chance to cut inside on his left, and he finds Bernardo Sousa. A brilliant block, and it's cleared away for a corner. Gerardo's shot on goal block too. Out for a corner on the left-hand side, Ben Harouche delivers to the back post. Headed away as far as Dembele, 30 yards out. He gets it inside to Paixão. He was just making his way back from the corner, but he's managed to recycle possession. Sousa and Ben Harouche play a 1-2. Now Cunha out to the right-hand side. Rodriguez keeps it in and he's got a chance to cross, but he's blocked by the defender out for a throw-in. We've also got to consider with 5 minutes gone that the January transfer window will have been and gone by the time the next episode comes around. As Porto take the lead, we've better break away from that for a moment, as we've given away a sloppy goal at the back. Poor marking from set pieces, it's not like us at all, and Porto lead with less than 10 gone. Maybe our cup dream and quadruple is over. It's Bernardo Sousa with a free kick at the other end though. He puts it over the bar from the edge of the box, and with 15 minutes gone it remains 1-0 to the away side. They're making up for their poor start to the league season here. Rodriguez to Schürrle on the right. It's back in possession for Cunha. He finds Bernardo Sousa, but it's just wide of the post from 15 yards, and Porto still survive. Lorenzi at the back as we're seeing highlight after highlight. No real let up here, but now it's Porto coming forward on the left again. Panini bringing it forward to Brobby. The skipper cuts inside and plays it wide. On the right hand side for the winger, delivers to Moxica. A brilliant save from Fabrizio, and Paixão has to hack the ball away. A quarter of the game gone, and we're going to drop to a balanced mentality as Porto are absolutely dominating at the moment. Rodriguez with a throw in on the right hand side. Bernardo Sousa finds Cunha. Back out to Rodriguez on the right, and he finds Dembele down the line. Tries to deliver, it's blocked to Ben Harouche. Falls for Sousa from the block shot, but he's put it wide again. His radar's been off today, and with 10 to the break, it's still the away side that lead. It's a free kick for Bernardo Sousa, 30 yards out, but it's gone comfortably over the bar, and it's a goal kick for Porto. 5 to the break. As we were mentioning a moment ago, we are going to have the January transfer window before the next episode, as most of it's covered by a mid-season break, so hopefully Viana will be able to bring in one more player just to freshen up the squad. As you can see from performances like today, it's very much needed in certain areas. Victor Severino wants the lads to prove a point. I'm going to aggressively tell them to show something else. Most of them are motivated or fired up, but they've been really poor in this one today. Albeit we've had 3 times the amount of shots and plenty of possession as well, but we've really wasted most of them as Bernardo Sousa's radar's been off. Bruno Henrique's got the ball at right back, but the highlight ends as Porto still lead. 10 minutes gone in the second half, and it's a long throw on the left for Vernier. We've not seen much of him in this one, and his rating's been poor too. Sousa gets it wide to Dembele. Have we got a moment of magic in us? It falls for Cunha on the edge of the box, and he gives it away with a terrible square pass, and now Porto have got a 3-on-3. Thankfully he's worked back and forced his man backwards, and in the end the highlight's been slowed down. But Panini's got it on the left again. It's sped up again very quickly. Brobby shoots from 25 yards. The shot had plenty of whip on it, but in the end it goes just past the far post, and with an hour gone we still trail 1-0. Plenty of work to do, and we'll make some subs in a moment, but let's see if this highlight leads anywhere first. Dembele gets it on the right hand side, gets to the byline and delivers. Ben Harush back to Sousa. Brilliant save by the Porto keeper, and it is going to be another corner for Sporting, our 7th of the match. Ben Harush with the outswinger, another poor delivery, and he's headed away as far as Dembele, but we don't really look like scoring at the moment. Paxhal finds Vernier on the left hand side, and the highlight ends as we think about subs. We're back almost immediately though, so we're not able to even think about it. Vernier's won back possession though. Are we going to start to get on top? Ben Harush running at the Porto defence, gets it wide to Dembele on the right. He delivers a brilliant ball in. That is world class from Ousmane Dembele, and Gerardo runs across his man at the front post to guide it in for an equaliser. 20 minutes left and we're back on level terms, and now we've got a free kick with Sousa. We were about to make subs, but you know my superstition, as a brilliant save's made by the Porto keeper, and with 15 to go we will now make the changes, and it is 1-1, but we look on top. Let's go and make the changes and see who we can bring on. Cunha's knackered and he's not had the best game, so De Campo is going to get an outing in midfield. Bernardo Sousa's had one of his worst games at the club, so Dragan Tomic will come on as the number 10. And what can we do out wide? Ben Harush is struggling for fitness, and he's also not had the best of games, so we're going to bring on Yang Ho-sung, and we're going to switch Dembele to the left hand side. He'll become an inside forward on attack, and Ho-sung will be a winger on the right. That just gives us one more man in the box from the crosses, and let's see if it makes a difference in the last quarter of an hour. Just 3 minutes of stoppage time to go. I can see Benfica are being held at home to Maritimo as well, so it looks like both of us are going to find out in a moment whether this game goes to a replay or extra time. Let's find out, but we've got Porto to defend first. A brilliant cross from the right, and we're not going to find out after all. That is disastrous defending to finish the game. We're going to go very attacking and demand more, but with a minute of stoppage time gone, we've left the left winger unmarked at the back post, and he's just tapped it in. The keeper was in no man's land, standing leaning on his near post, and the open goal was taken advantage of by the winger as Porto looked like they've nicked a late winner. Vernier's got the ball on the left hand side. Can we create one more chance? Not with a cross of that standard. It's deflected out for a throw in. Vernier will take it, but the whistle will go, and we're going to be out of the Portuguese Cup. It just shows what these sides can do on an off day. Yes, we may have the consistency in the league, but another big cup competition goes missing. The Italian Cup's still the only one we've won. We threw it away in the FA Cup with Newcastle, and we've thrown away the Portuguese Cup with Sporting. Porto nick it in the 91st minute, and 2 of the sloppiest goals we've given away all year. I'm really disappointed, and it's 2 defeats in a row on camera. Every time we're playing against a half decent side, it seems like we're getting beaten. We're going to tell the lads we're not happy with that performance. Myself and Severino singing from the same hymn sheet again. Michel and Dragan Tomic losing confidence from that, but they need to perform a bit better on the pitch. We've got a couple of league games before the midwinter break. We've got to make sure we get victories in those, and when we come back for the Porto League game, we need to avenge this defeat desperately. You can see it did go to extra time in the other matches. Benfica nicking their one in extra time, so they may well win the cup yet, or they could set up a grandstand match with Porto. Rio Ave won on penalties, so it looks like there's no replays in Portugal, but let's go and see what the media said about the game, as they confirm we lose the derby clash. We're defeated in the 5th round of the Portuguese Cup, a competition with a really good reputation. It would have helped us in our quest to find a big job, but unfortunately it wasn't to be on this occasion. Ekede Gerardo picks up a knock too. He's only out for 1 to 3 days though, so he should be fit for the game on Sunday, where we host a side at home in the league. We've got to get back to winning ways in that one. We don't want Benfica taking advantage of our poor confidence. I want to see what's said in the press conference after losing to our rivals in the cup and gauge what they were expecting from us. They're saying, are we unhappy to be out of the competition? A little bit of a stupid question really. I'm disappointed with the manner we lost. The stupid goal to concede at the end, that really has cost us the cup cup tie. I suppose people will stop talking about our unbeaten run against Porto, but I'd love to still have it to talk about. We lost it late, which was particularly hard to take, and the full duration of the match I guess didn't represent what happened. We looked on top for the last 20 minutes, but gave away a really silly goal. Lorenzi, the centre-half, played well, and of course he got a good rating due to his early goal. And we are going to be sensible, we're not just going to make an overhaul of the team based on one game, but it does mean I would like an addition in January, just to bring a bit of freshness to the squad. Unfortunately we only get £9,000, as we've gone out of the cup pretty early on, and the board are disappointed we haven't met our targets, but they understand we had a difficult draw. Porto one of the only two sides that could have beat us, and unfortunately they managed it in stoppage time. Let's quickly go and have a look at how that's affected our dynamics before we go and see when we'll be back for the next episode. The dressing room atmosphere's down to very good. It was excellent before that Porto match. The team cohesion's still very good though, and our managerial support continues to improve. So plenty of good signs still. We've got to get rid of a few of these unhappy players, but that's all down to Hugo Viana. Our director of football's in charge of that. Just before we go to the schedule, if I remind you how much of our transfer budget's remaining, we've got 35 million to spend on players, but only 40 grand of the wage budget available. We might move a little bit of that transfer budget over before the start of January, just to give our director of football a bit more wiggle room and allow him to sign a top class player. Hopefully he'll go and do that, and most importantly, we need him to keep hold of the ones we've got. The likes of Ben Harush and Pak Zhao in particular, got plenty of interest in them at the moment, and a few of the squad players are attracting interest too. The last thing we need is a smaller squad. The only ones I'd be happy to see go at the moment are the two backup wingers. Hugo Silva and Ronald aren't great, and we've still got Hyosung as a backup if needed. I'd imagine the sub-keeper will force his way out too, but Hugo Viana was the one who signed two keepers as key players, so he's going to have to put up with that. That's his own mistake, I'm afraid. But let's go and have a look at the schedule to see when we'll next be back. We've got a couple of big games coming up before the mid-season break. The League One's a must-win game. We're already through in a League Cup tie though, so we can play a few squad players in that one. Then we've got 3 league games in January, all against winnable opposition, and then the first game of February is going to be a title decider. We're away against Porto in the league, the side that obviously just beat us in that cup tie, and they're going to be able to stop us winning the league and put Benfica back in pole position. We've got the January transfer window between then as well, so we'll be back for deadline day of that one, and then we'll show you the game against Porto in what will be a crucial episode. But if you did enjoy this episode and that second defeat in a row on camera, please do put a thumbs up on the video. As you can see, we're consistent against all of the lower league sides, but as soon as we play a big team, we're starting to collapse at the moment. That's a little bit of a concern moving forward. 2 defeats in succession to Benfica and Porto. Let me know in the comments if you think we're still going to be able to hang on in the league, or are Porto going to get the better of us next time round as well? And are we going to be able to win the 4 league games in between? We don't want to write that one off yet. I know we've been consistent so far, but we have started to show signs of decline, and we've got to be careful of that during January. Will Hugo Viana keep our squad together, or will he start to sell some of our stars? And if he does, will he be able to get a replacement or two in? What positions do you think he's going to sign players in? There's been no signs of anyone being scouted at the moment, and I haven't had a look to see what he's doing, so it's going to be a bit of a surprise in January, and hopefully we'll have another busy deadline day. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories. This one, the head coach, where as we mentioned, we'll be back for that January transfer deadline day, as well as the big title decider against Porto next time, as well as our one club story, part of the furniture with Torquay United, where we tried to take them to the top of English and European football. If you're not up to date with that one, please do go back and check it out. We're fighting to get into Europe for the first time this season, and it's coming towards a nail-biting finish in the Premier League campaign, so please do go and check it out, and I really hope you enjoy it. There's also 3 episodes a week from my Cricket 19 career, every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at midday. That one's taken the place of our Ashes Test playthrough, which we completed for the 3 or 4 weeks before that. If you are a fan of other sports games, please do go and check them out, and a massive thank you to everyone that supported them so far. Our weekly Snooker 19 career continues every Friday at 4:32, so plenty of content from loads of different series across the channel, but a massive thanks for watching this one, and your continued support with the series as always. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time for a massive episode in this series, as we try to keep pole position in the title against Porto, as well as hoping for some good news from our director of football.